Cool thing about YouTube, it's constantly prospecting for you. And honestly, it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have, how many views you get, it's the amount of calls you get. Oh, your video only has 92 views. Yeah, well, I got 4 leads off that. Do I care that I didn't have 3,000, 4,000, 10,000 views? No, it's the quality of the content that you're putting out will get the phone calls. People like me because I'm authentic and I talk to people and I care. And like, I know that people get like commission breath and they get all worried and not looking at people as a paycheck. If you authentically make connections with people, they love you and they're going to recommend you. When people put in comment on one of my videos, like asking for something, I'll shift all my videos down and I'll make that one next because that's what they're looking for. So don't delay it. Don't wait 6, 8, 10 weeks.
When somebody says something, if you already have that in the pipeline, you're flexible. You're like, oh, that'll be there in 9 weeks. I hope it's still relevant. No, you're going to instantly post it because that's what people want.
Yeah.
You're listening to the #1 real estate podcast in the world, where we talk with real estate professionals all across North America about their wins, losses, lessons, and stories help you win in your local market today. My name is Cody from Sheridan Street. I'm joined with Vikram Deol of the Real Estate Sales Academy. We're back at it with another guest. But before we intro the guest, Vikram, what's up, man? What's happening? What's good in life?
Yeah, I don't think I told you, dude, but my dad, a couple of days ago, my dad was in the hospital, and yeah, he's fine. He doesn't fucking. He's like the greatest wellness doctor in the world that doesn't take half of his own advice because he's like always so busy and he's always so stressed. But I don't know where that came from, why I wanted to share it, but I think that we should start taking more care of our health, and I think I'm going to do a health episode, a solo health episode, if the listeners want it. But like, you guys, this market's been tough. We're going into This is going to be launched September, probably 7th. Take care of your mental health. Take care of your physical health. Like, it's so important because like we just had a new baby come into our family. And that's why my dad's like, holy f***, I don't want to die. Like, I want this little human to have a grandpa. And yeah, you guys, like, be careful what you put in your body, right? Like, just be careful of the food you eat, the chemicals around your house. Like, be careful of the marketing that you guys are listening to, what's considered food, what's not, like just calories. Like, just be careful of the narrative out there in the world because, I want you guys to be around for a long time because we have a lot more episodes to go of this podcast and we need more listeners. And if you die, that hurts our ratings. How about you, Cody May?
Oh man. I don't know how to follow that, like that ribbon, that heartfelt story about like, hey, we just want you to live. So we have you so that you can listen to the podcast and, we can eventually get some sponsors. Oh man, that was, I'm good, man. Things are rocking. They're rolling. Like, we're headed into a weekend. I'm headed down to Centro in Medellin. So I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. We'll find out tomorrow.
I have your location. So if somebody hits you upside the head again and steals your phone, at least I'll be able to follow them and not you.
Yeah, very, very accurate. But yeah, things are good, man. Things are good. We're just rocking and rolling. But we have a very special guest today, Cassandra Marks, out of the
Oregon, Washington.
Goodness, Oregon, Washington. I almost said Portland. Oregon, Washington.
Well, she's close to area. Portland. She's on like the border of like Oregon and Washington.
But with Real, as you can see, kind of on the shoulder, you can kind of see Real, work hard, be kind. Yep. But Cassandra, why don't you give us like kind of a high level Cold Notes version on?
Bro, nobody knows what the frick Cold Notes is. It's called
really?
Cliff Notes. Yes, Cliff Notes. Nobody knows what Cold Notes is.
Yeah,
it's like when a realtor. I know it's like when.
Well, I'm sorry.
Talk to your lender. Do you want me to introduce you to my lender? They're like, oh, I don't know what that means. Okay, yes, it's Cliff Notes, honey. Cliff Notes.
Okay, well, in Canada, all our Canadian listeners that listen,
the three of them,
they understand what Cold Notes is. But give us the Cliff/Cold Notes version of how you got into real estate, what you're up to. They already know where you're at in the world, but what is your superpower in real estate?
I just got tired of the BS of real life and being associated with corporate life. And so I was like, my husband and I are remodeling houses. We said, screw it. Let's do this. And I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have a lot of money. And I was like, well, now we moved to a town that I wasn't from. And so next thing you know, I'm doing open houses, doing YouTube, and trying to not spend a lot of money to start my business. And I've been pretty successful with it. I'm in my 6th year of real estate and just killing it. I doubled my business already this year. And so when a lot of agents have been having challenges, it's about working hard. It's about getting out there and getting back to the basics. And that's what I've done.
But let's jam on that, because we were very close. I got out of the business right as you got into the business. But I was up in Bellevue and I moved up there. I didn't know anybody. And, a lot of people don't know, but I actually lived in a client's vacant home that he left staged with his furniture, but he took out the washer and dryer and the pots and pans and the glasses. So I'm like, Mom, what do I do? I don't have any money. I'm going through a divorce. We just remodeled a house. I'm broke. I have laundry. Where do I take it? She's like, I don't know, like wash it in the bathroom. And I was like, okay, this reminds me of when I lived in India. So I showered with my clothes. I washed them. I hung dry them, like barbecued every day, ate on paper plates, plastic forks, right? Like sat down on the ground. And, the cool thing was he left a TV so I could plug my laptop into the TV to watch movies, but I also would watch a lot of training because I still it was, do you get an apartment that's super shitty or do you hire your coach? And I made the choice that it was better to have leads coming in, open houses, and a coach. So let's go to what's working for you right now, because I think there's a lot of people out there. Like I talked to a lady, 7 transactions this year. Last year, she was at 18, and she's in a very close market to where you're at. So what would you say are your top 3 lead sources that are working? And can you tell if they're paid or if they're organic?
I don't do any paid
that makes it easy. Sorry, Cody, you're out of business. So what are you doing?
I've just been really frugal and watched where my spending was. I knew that the market was going to change. Open houses, when I first got into the business, that's a great way to meet people. The best time to do an open house is like the first 6-7 weeks of the year, because that's when the most amount of people make a New Year's resolution to buy a house. You want unrepresented people, you do that. So I picked up a bunch of people that way, met a lot of people, and have genuine, awesome relationships with people, like honestly caring about people, not just like, hey, do you want to buy a house? Hey, how can I help you? Like, do you want the price of your house? Like, whatever, like, okay, that's fine. But people like me because I'm authentic and I talk to people and I care. And all of my clients are my friends. And they weren't my friends before they were clients. They found me, they got recommended to me, whatever it was, and now they're friends. They come over, they party at my house for 4th of July, and like we hang out. And that's really being able to do that and not looking at people as a paycheck. Like I know that people get like the commission breath and they get all worried, but if you authentically make connections with people, they love you and they're gonna recommend you.
So let's go back up step here. Top 3 sources right now that are generating business for you. So
sphere of influence,
okay,
agent to agent referrals. So those are both relational, and YouTube.
Okay. Let's go down. I know Cody wants to talk about agent to agent referrals more. I want to talk about YouTube because my YouTube channel's kicking me in the nutsack, and I would love to know what's working for you. And so let me just pepper you with some interrogations. How long have you been on YouTube?
Consistently since the first week of December, 2022.
How many videos are you producing a week?
1.
How much time are you putting into each video?
Takes me probably 30 minutes to write it, probably 2 hours to record it, and then I send it to my editor.
Where is your editor?
Fiverr. What's the other side of the world?
Like exactly where Cody and I are. Probably he's probably either my cousin or he's Cody's 3rd brother. How much are you paying your Fiverr editor on average?
If it's 10 minutes or less, it's $25 and some change. Okay. If it is 10 to 20 minutes, it's $48 and some change.
Okay. So $50 is the max you're paying your editor. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's go to the writing. So when you're writing the script, right? Because I assume that's what you mean. Like you're planning out what to say. Yeah. How are we coming up with the ideas for the content before you sit down to write? I just want to go super tactical with you if you're cool with that.
That's fine. So it's mostly a relocation channel. I deal with a lot of relocation right now. I did before anyways, but just figuring out what people are searching for using Google, because Google's the #1 search engine and YouTube is the #2 search engine in the world. So what are people searching for in Google? And what if you were moving to your location, what would you search?
Perfect. Super tactical, you guys. Like, write this stuff down, because I don't teach a lot of like internet stuff because we do more like sales coaching. So once you get the leads, but if you talk about, and tell me if I'm wrong, but the videos that produce the most results are not where people talk necessarily all about the process of buying and selling real estate, because you can go to ChatGPT and find it, and it's super freaking boring, especially the way agents deliver it, because it's like standing in front of a camera, they're horrible audio, they're super nervous, like they're not having fun. It comes across that way. And Mr. Beast, like my editor sent me a video today where Mr. Beast says your first 100 videos don't deserve to be watched. And you should pray that nobody does watch them, because they're going to be garbage because you haven't put in the reps. But something between 100 and 500 is where things start to pop for a lot of people. It sounds like you're popping earlier. So are we talking about like cool things to do? You're in, where's your main city you sell in?
My channel is based around Vancouver, Washington. Okay.
So are we talking about like cool parks in Vancouver, why you would move to Vancouver, what neighborhoods to avoid, what's the cool restaurants, like why do people migrate here, why you should leave from Seattle to Vancouver, why you should go from Portland to Vancouver? Because you're kind of like 3 hours out of like a couple of really big hubs. Is that the kind of content you're creating?
Yes. So when people move here, chances are they don't know where to live. So they want to know what the neighborhoods are like. So we talk about neighborhoods. We talk about things you should and shouldn't do, pros and cons,
right?
Reasons people like this city over this city, all sorts of different things when it comes to that. I did a video on retirement because Vancouver, Washington is the #1 place to retire to in Washington.
Cool. Didn't know that.
Cool facts is Washington, and you got to know your state. Washington doesn't have any income tax.
Yep.
And Portland, just over the river, doesn't have any sales tax. And you can get to the airport very easily.
Yep.
So people love to come to Portland because you're paying Portland prices. You're not paying, the median price is like $550 here versus like $850 in Seattle, and it takes you 3 hours to get to the damn airport. So people love to, live in this area and have all those access to everything. So it's, what do you want to know? Like if you were moving somewhere, what do you want to know? I do, map tours about cool restaurants, places I love, different cities. And it kind of depends. When people put in comment on one of my videos, like asking for something, I'll shift all my videos down and I'll make that one next, because that's what they're looking for. So don't delay it. Don't wait 6, 8, 10 weeks to put it out.
So you're flexible. What I'm hearing is when somebody says something, if you already have that in the pipeline, you're flexible. You're like, oh, that'll be there in 9 weeks. I hope it's still relevant. No, you're gonna instantly post it because that's what people want.
Yeah.
And then go for it, Cody.
But when it comes to YouTube, like I think that a lot of people struggle with like even the idea of like getting started. And maybe you can walk us through a little bit of some of the mistakes you made in the beginning of publishing consistent YouTube content. Like, were there certain videos that popped off better than others? Are there mistakes that you've made that you're like, looking back, I wish I wouldn't have done that? Can you share with us some like mistakes that you've made with YouTube that you're like, I wouldn't do that again?
Not starting sooner, first of all, because it's constantly prospecting for you. And the cool thing about YouTube with all of that is I've had some really crappy videos, but honestly, it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. It does not matter how many views you get. It's the amount of calls you get. So people will look at my channel. They'll be like, oh, your video only has 92 views. Yeah, well, I got 4 leads off that. Do I care that I didn't have 3,000, 4,000, 10,000 views? No, it's the quality of the content that you're putting out will get the phone calls. And that's what a lot of people, and I'll be really honest with you. I'm frugal as all get out. I film my videos on my iPhone. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to swear because I got a potty mouth on me.
We hate bad words on this channel. Like, it's not proper to use swear language. Okay, Cassandra. So please watch your potty mouth.
I'm sorry. You said the word. Okay.
God damn it.
So people I film on my iPhone. I have a tripod with a ring light, I have a gimbal that I don't use and suck at using. I literally film everything holding my phone out in front of me. And
authentic.
And you can hear my husband.
I was like, is that husband in the back? Does he want to get
Yeah.
in you?
We definitely share an office.
Come on, honey. Don't be shy.
We do. I have a microphone that now, since I've upgraded to the 14, doesn't even hook into my phone anymore. So I need to buy a new microphone. And I'm like,
adapter. Just get an adapter, honey.
I know.
Get an adapter.
But ultimately, like, you don't need to buy a bunch of stuff and spend a bunch of money. My videos do just fine. I'm closing in on making 100,000 in GPI, and I film on my phone.
So I know a lot of people are going to ask this question, especially those who want to find an excuse, but you have a very, like, you're bigger than life. Like, you have a very strong presence. Do you have like a YouTube university degree or like a background in YouTube and video production and editing and all that?
No, I don't do anything. I taught myself how to edit on a Sunday the first week of December. I used Adobe Rush. It was a very long 8 hours. I'm
never doing that again.
Yeah, I got ripped by one of my mentors, which I believe she's been on your podcast too, Rachel Novak.
Oh, okay. We know Rachel.
She ripped me for doing that because I posted it on my stories, and I'm like, it is what it is. I did my own editing for 5 months, and then I got so busy I didn't even have time to do it anymore. So I farmed it out to Fiverr. But honestly, it's been about being authentic and just, giving people who you are. Like, it doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be like amazing. Like, good content's great. Like, you have to have that hook in the beginning to really dig them in. But other than that, like, just giving the people what they want and being yourself.
So I love that about, like, when you came, like, Party Marty, he's been on our podcast. He's super genuine. He's super open and vulnerable. Like, he talks about shit that agents don't talk about. He talks about psychedelic, microdosing on psilocybin. I'm microdosing today. He is very open on that. He talks about his traumas. He talks about how that's who made him who he is. And so when I see how you guys interact, I'm like, okay, she's going to be a real authentic human being. How do you, because I struggle personally, and this is all about me. So if anybody else listening, you can just sign off now. How do you allow yourself to be who you are? Like, you might not share everything that Party Marty does, or you might not share as much like personal things as other, but how do you find your authenticity so that when you're speaking to the camera, because it is awkward, like, not everybody's done 6,000 videos like Cody has, and it's weird, right? And Cody and I lived together, so we gave each other real life feedback. I'm like, bro, that was a dry video. He's like, what are you talking about? That's so good content. I'm like, you're super dry. He's like, all right, I'm going to do it again. And we would give each other lovingly, like, playful feedback. But like, Cody's also got a background in filming, what do you call it?
Cinematography.
That you see, that's how good we are over here. Like, were you like, how do you express your voice, like, in a natural voice so that it doesn't come across as that nervous, super nervous voice? Or did that just take reps?
I've always pretended like I was either talking to a friend or my significant other or something. It wasn't that I was talking to the camera. I
don't hear you swearing at your significant other in the room. That's up. Mine tries to stab me 3 times a day.
He's over here laughing.
He loves it.
He does. I
Watch my back.
be careful about your front too, bro.
Peanut Gallery, I'm gonna start throwing things at you. Well, I mean, other than that, it's just, being honest in who you are. People want to know who you are. They don't want that. And I didn't start using a teleprompter until I got into some really difficult topics that maybe I didn't know as much about. But a lot of the times I just bullet point stuff, and I would record little snippets of my video. And if I didn't like it, if I'm like, oh, I missed something. Usually I max maybe 3 takes on a paragraph. And I just look at it and go, okay.
What are the topics that are tough for you? Like, what you said, you started sharing some more tough things. Like, what are you sharing now that you weren't sharing in the beginning?
Sometimes it's maybe a city that I'm not as, I haven't sold as much in. And so I don't know quite as much about the city. So I have to look it up, where Vancouver, I know Vancouver back in front. Right. I know Camas back in front. Do I know Washougal super well? No.
Where?
But like I'm Washougal. Washougal.
Does anybody know Washougal?
Yeah.
So, and that's a fun one. I've made fun of how people pronounce it when they look at it. If you could, I'd love to see one of you try to spell it.
Wash.
I'm not going to try. I'm not.
It does sound like a spell.
WAS Washu SHUGGLE Washougal.
WASHOUGAL.
Oh, that's
Washougal.
That makes sense. So let's get into the tactical here. Let's get into the results because you've shared a lot. How many leads are you bringing in per month now on average? Or how many leads have you brought? Let's do this. How many leads have you brought in? Do you track those numbers?
I was writing them down before we started the podcast and then I got distracted because my phone rang.
Yes, shiny objects everywhere. So guesstimate how many leads you're bringing in on average.
Probably 2 a week.
Whoa. That's not what I was expecting. Okay, that's crazy. How many leads did you bring in the first 3.5 months?
0.
How many leads did you bring in the 4th month?
3.
5th month, estimate.
So 5th month would have been April. So
April, May.
It took me 4 months to get my first phone call, and then it was 1 to 2 a week, and then so that would have been April, May, June. I was starting to get to the 2 a week.
Okay, so how many deals have you closed? You said 100,000 in GCI. So how many deals?
That would be 4.
And then here's my last question, Cody, and you can take the mic and tell me to shut the front door. Have your deal sizes increased as you started doing YouTube because you're getting into different markets? Like you can actually promote the neighborhood you want. So are your deal sizes starting to get bigger than when you first started getting deals?
Yes. All of my deals have been over $1 million. And my average sales price last year was about $600.
So that's a 40% increase in price.
Now, okay, yeah, exactly. Now, just so I understand, like from a tactical perspective. So we're talking YouTube. You said YouTube was one pillar, open houses is a pillar, agent-to-agent referrals is a pillar. When we're talking about YouTube, we're specifically saying you're getting 2 leads a week from YouTube now, correct? I'm understanding that right?
Yes.
Okay. So 2 leads a week from YouTube. What are you doing? Like, how are they reaching out to you? Are they just seeing the description in the video? Like, can you walk us through the tactics of like, did something change? Like, did your naming conventions change from month 1 to 4 to now? Like, or it was just consistency?
It's consistency of posting, and I've gone back and like I changed my thumbnails, I changed my titles. I'm constantly going backwards and working on stuff. If I see a video that's not doing very well, I'm like, all right, time to change the thumbnail, see what's going on. I've definitely been getting into that more in the last couple weeks, last month or so.
Got it.
When it comes to everything else, I actually have asked some of my clients, like, what was the final video that made you call me? And what's funny is one of the videos isn't even one of the ones that was supposed to be for clients. This other gal, Patricia Ann Young, and I used to do a podcast or like a every other week live on YouTube. And in there, we talked about some of the weird that we've seen as realtors. And the story she told, you're going to love it. You ready? The story she told was she was showing a house. She's from Dallas, Texas. She's like 4'11". She's amazing. And she's like, yeah, I opened this closet door and a vibrator fell out and went off. And literally that my client said that was the video they decided to call me on because we were just talking about random shit.
So it's the personal connections that they stuck around for the information. They liked the information, but it was the personal connections. And these are $1 million buyers. So these aren't like poor people. So they like to be entertained with silly stories about vibrators just as much as anybody else does, is what you're telling me.
Yeah. Yes.
Interesting.
So go ahead.
Cody's speechless.
Yeah.
Come on, Cody. What you got?
No, I was waiting for you. I don't got anything. I was gonna go down the agent-to-agent referral route. I kind of want to. Yeah, I was gonna shift gears. I was gonna shift gears from the. Yeah.
Some of my other clients, I've asked them to, so I'll change it a little bit, then we'll go to there. Another client, I asked her, and she said it was the way that I talked about some of the challenges that our cities are facing. One of them predominantly being homelessness and how it is or isn't being taken care of. And there's a huge discretion between the two, between Portland and Vancouver, on how things are being taken care of. And like, I didn't sound demeaning. I didn't sound rude about it. I was just really open and honest and vulnerable about the fact that like, it is a problem. And this is what this city is doing, and this is what this city is doing. And people respected that, because there are other agents in my market, that in both markets, that have talked about that, but some of them don't seem to have the more or less like the compassion. And so they didn't, that kind of turned them off. But ultimately, in the end of everything, it is your vibe attracts your tribe. And the people, there's plenty of business out there for everybody. If there's multiple people doing YouTube in your market, it doesn't matter. Because the people that are going to work with me are going to work with me, and the people that are going to work with the other people are going to work with the other people. And that's fine. Like, I'm not mad about it. I'm not angry about it. And that's the same thing with agent to agent referrals. Like, agents are going to work with you because they vibe with you and send you, be like, hey, you're going to be great for my clients. And some agents aren't. And it is what it is.
What, like, I guess wrapping up here, because I know like we do have to wrap up the podcast, but I want to, I guess, understand like your strategy, because you mentioned like there were 3 pillars. There was the open house. We went really heavy on the YouTube stuff, and I'm curious to know like what's your strategy to cultivate a solid open house and then a solid agent to agent referral, because it sounds like you're getting a lot of leads from YouTube, but you mentioned the other 2. We didn't really go too much. Like, can you walk us through your strategy around agent to agent referrals? Like, what are you doing in order to cultivate those relationships agent to agent? And then what are you doing in open houses that you're seeing success in?
So with agent to agent referrals, it's, I treat them the same. Like, I treat other agents the same way that I treat my clients, my friends, my family. Like, I talk to them. I have genuine relationships with them. I have agents that I'm friends with all over the country. And like, one of them is in Salt Lake, and her husband's dad died. Okay. So I like send a bunch of text messages because I care, like, how are you doing? How's your husband? That kind of thing. Like, I'm in their life, whether it's just a text message a week, but I care. And so I travel to these different, conventions and events. And I was really sad that I missed Summit with Tom Ferry this past week because of other things. But I meet people there and just make friends. And, how can I help you? I'm very adamant about helping people. I spent in corporate America, I had the glass ceiling and a bunch of bullshit, and like, they didn't pay me what I was worth. And so I hate to see, like, especially other women, I'm like, you can get a real estate, make as much money as you want. How can I help you? What do you need? Do you want something from my Canva? Do you want to talk about your pillars of business? Like, how can I help you? I always come from a place of giving, and it just gives back. And when it comes to open houses, I told my husband when we first moved to Portland from Denver, I said, I'm going to do open houses three weekends a month. You get me one, because I don't want to spend a lot of money, and I don't have a lot of money to spend to start my business. So what's the best way to find business? Open houses. Yep. And so that was in 2018. And I would do Thursday night, Friday night, and then I would do 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. And I was pulling in probably 4 to 5 appointments a month on that, just to like talk to people, because we all know that real estate is a numbers game, and it especially now, like, it's a numbers game. How many conversations you have, how many people. And then once I get in front of people and start talking to them and they like meet me face to face, like, I do not have a phone voice. I cannot cold call people. I suck at that. But when I meet
we
people,
can help you with tonality, Cassandra.
I just like to interact with people. I'm really good at like understanding like body language, vibes, like how people kind of feel. And I just go with that. And, learning a lot about matching people's tone. So what I teach in my class, I do an open house class for my brokerage. What I teach in my class on how to succeed in it is, if you've got someone exactly like that, and like the people you're talking, that's you, and the people you're talking to are like, yeah, that's cool. That's not going to work. You have to match them. Within 2 sentences, you have to know exactly how the tone and the energy, and you need to match them. People see that a lot better and resonate with that a lot better than someone that is just like the whole time. Like, I get passionate. I talk fast. I'm like, whoo. Then I got to remind myself, shut up, slow down, and, take it in. And I think the other big thing that I teach in my class is I always ask people, is the house, and this is random, is the house that you're holding open furnished or unfurnished? I rarely will take an unfurnished house, no matter what, because I will find the house that is furnished and I will plop my butt on the chair, the couch, whatever I can see the front door from, and I will not move. And I will sit there and I will talk to everybody that comes in. People love when you're sitting on the couch or sitting on the chair, you're more approachable. But if you're up sauntering around and like in their face, they don't want to talk to you. They're like, oh my gosh, you're a salesperson. I'm like, I'm not a salesperson. I'm just going to sit on this couch. How can it?
So, yeah. When we were in Seattle, and it was, there was no sitting available because it was like 1,000 people per open house.
Oh.
When I would first start, when I was flipping houses, 2010, 2011, and people would, like, it was dead. I mean, it was like crickets at our open, and these are like gorgeous remodels, acreage properties, like,
yeah,
really nicely done, and nobody came in. And so luckily somewhere I read to stage, and I would just sit there when the person walked in, I would just be chilling, and when they opened the doors, when I would pop up, I'd be like, oh, hey, good to see you. And they're like, oh, hi. And it was a really relaxed situation because it was like very 1-to-1. When we had like 1,000 people come in, it was a different process because it was assembly line-ish. Wrapping up, because we had a really good conversation with somebody earlier about their process. When you have a conversation with somebody about an open house and you connect, you have their information, how and when do you follow up with them?
Well, it kind of depends on how the conversation goes. Based on where we led, where we talked to, if they're unrepresented, I'll make a statement like, hey, do you, if it's a Saturday, be like, what are you doing tomorrow? Do you want to meet up? Like, do you have time at 2:00 tomorrow for a meeting? And we can talk a little bit about what the market's like, and so your expectations, where we're going, what we're doing, and then we can go out and take a look at a few houses. Sometimes it just depends on the person. Maybe it's like, hey, like, I will reach out to you on Monday. I think I've got 5 or 6 other houses that'll fit your needs better than this one. So it's really catered to kind of the conversation that I have with the people. And the biggest thing for me in open houses is I have never asked for people to register, unless obviously during the dark times when they were requiring our state, like everybody had to sign in. But I don't do that. I don't ask for people to sign in, and I ask, hey, would it be okay if I got your contact information and reached out to you tomorrow, because I think there's 3 or 4 other houses that will fit your needs better. And people love to keep their autonomy and love when you ask for their permission, instead of be like, hey, can you sign into the sheet? And then you call them randomly. Nah, it's just not my vibe. Like, yeah, that's old calling thing. It's just not how I feel. So being authentic and asking the questions and having the genuine conversations with people. And yeah, scripts are great. But ultimately scripts also are not always very genuine. So asking those good questions and just leading to where you're going, but ultimately it's follow-up. If you say you're going to call them on Monday, call them. If you're going to call them on Saturday or Sunday or whatever you say you're going to do, fucking do it. Because so many agents just drop the ball and then lose the client. Forgot to call them on Monday, call them Tuesday, they don't answer, call them Wednesday, they don't answer, call them Thursday. They're like, well, they remember that you said you were going to call Monday and you didn't call.
We just scripts are great, but they're just frameworks, you guys. You just have to know, the biggest challenge agents have is they never, they don't write down questions. So if somebody says this, I can say these 5 questions that would help them get their impact out. It's not, you have to be perfect A to Z. It's just, you got to know what to say. And a lot of people get nervous when they don't know what to say. So it's just write it down, make yourself easy. It's if you were to recorded your YouTubes without bullet points or without the teleprompter, they wouldn't be as solid as they were for you as what your results are getting. So put in the effort and you'll get the reward. We just had a policy in our office because we would never follow up on Monday with people, because Monday comes, you're 1,000 different things. And we just had our policy, everybody gets a call on Sunday. And that was just part of our open house. So we spent an hour after the open house, clean up, put everything away, make an hour and a half worth of calls or whatever it was, however many people. And it just made our lives easy because Mondays were always crazy in our office. And so we just did that on Sunday. And the people that liked us, they liked us. The people that didn't, they didn't. And it was no big deal. So yeah, awesome. Cody's got the mic in his hand. I know he wants to say something.
No, I just, this was a great conversation. I was really, really excited that we had the opportunity to sit down and talk about YouTube, talk about open houses, talk about agent referrals, just get a different perspective around the things that are working. And like, I consistently hear, consistency to the process, consistency, nothing great happens overnight. Just really appreciate more than anything, Cassandra, your time and just your ability to share with us openly. If somebody were to want to reach out to you, and maybe they want to reach out to you, maybe it's an agent to agent referral. Maybe they want to learn a little bit more about what you're up to in your market. Where's the best place we can send them in order to have a conversation with you?
I would love for everyone to check out my Instagram. It's at Realtor Cass, CAS, 1S. You'll see my bright pink hair and my black hat. I'm there. That's me. So that's pretty much the place I want everybody to go and check out, because if you're a realtor, stay off my YouTube channel, please. Thank you.
Don't go to the YouTube channel. Only go to
They're all going to the YouTube channel. They're all going to your Instagram.
They're all going to YouTube. They want to see what's happening, how you're getting 2 leads a week. But Cassandra, I want to say thank you so much for joining us today. And I want to say thank you for tuning into another episode of the RE Agent Podcast. We'll see you soon.